I'm Thorn Dickinson. This show allows me to talk with Mainers working on the most important clean energy project to ever come to our state. We discuss how this project is providing jobs and other benefits today while creating clean energy for a better tomorrow. Welcome to this week's Clearing the Air. Today we're going to address a topic that we've addressed in prior episodes, but I think given how much myths and misrepresentations are still out there about this project, I think this episode is a great time to address it. The first one is that this project is going through pristine woods. Now this is something we've addressed and talked about. It was the focus of the DEP proceeding. We spoke to an expert in the northern Maine woods that has more than 40 years of experience and asked him the question, are these woods pristine?
It is a vast forest and it's a working forest and thousands of people's livelihoods depend on it. Maine's economy depends upon it. It is still one of the largest industries in the state. And it is because of responsible landowners and good stewardship and sound sustainable forestry that we're able to enjoy this forest. It is far from pristine.
The next myth that continues to be repeated out there is that this project is wider than the New Jersey Turnpike. Well, the last time I checked, the New Jersey Turnpike was not 54 feet wide, which is the width of this new corridor. To put that in perspective, that's narrower than the NFL red zone, and it's narrower than the distance between home plate and the pitcher's mound. Is this the 54 feet to here? No, that's gonna be the midline.
Oh yeah, so that's, is that orange and white? That's 54 feet right here. Yeah, so that's about right.
Oh yeah. Another myth I see out there regularly is what these poles look like. And we see pictures out there spread by the opposition that are incredible misrepresentation of what these structures will look like. And the nice thing is we've actually begun construction. So you can see exactly what these structures look like. You can see how they were designed in order to minimize visual impact and how they blend in with the forest around it. And then also, there will be no blinking lights. Not one structure associated with any part of this project will have a blinking light on it. One of the things that I've been extremely excited about this project is the property tax benefits it will mean to all the communities along the corridor. $18 million a year over the 40-year life of this project. And one of the myths out there is somehow those $18 million won't be realized. And I want to just be clear, we've actually heard that concern from people along the corridor. In response to that concern, we've committed that the value associated with that property tax at a minimum will be what we've already promised. And if it ends up being that the project was more expensive to construct, then those property taxes will even be higher.
It's a gift to the county tax base. And that would generate money that the county could use to cover its current needs, which is always a challenge with our county budget.
Another aspect of the project that I'm extremely excited about is the creation of a new recreational corridor, something that hunters and hikers and importantly snowmobilers will be able to use in an area where right now there aren't existing trails, all the way from the area of the Forks and Jackman to the Quebec border. Now, one of the myths that we've heard out there is that this project is going to permanently impact the snowmobiling community. And what I'm excited about is we have been meeting on a regular basis with these snowmobile clubs. The goal is that during construction we have no impacts, so those snowmobilers don't see any changes associated with their enjoyment while we're building the project. And then as we're completing the project, to improve the conditions of the trails. And that could mean leaving behind mats for stream crossings or moving boulders out of the way in order to make sure the snowmobilers continue to enjoy the paths that are there. And in the long run, helping those communities to enjoy the corridor, this new 53-mile piece from the Forks all the way to the Quebec border. One of the concerns I've heard as I've been out talking to people about the project throughout the state is the potential impact it has on wildlife. But one of the myths out there is that there will be a substantial impact on wildlife. But after a 3-year exhaustive analysis by the DEP and adding additional modifications to the project, everybody can rest assured that this project will have no substantial impact on wildlife. Particularly in the new 53-mile corridor, we're going to have 14 miles that will have special vegetation management that will reduce fragmentation, it will protect habitat, and have deer corridors that allow for deer to easily move across the corridor. One of the other myths about this project that just continues to frustrate me is that this will not reduce carbon emissions, and nothing could be further from the truth. The generation associated with this up in Quebec already exists. No new reservoirs are going to be required. In fact, because Hydro-Quebec hasn't been able to develop the transmission to get that power out of Quebec, the water is just continued to build up behind those reservoirs, and over the last few years has spilt over the reservoirs and been wasted. With this project, we can avoid that. That water that wouldn't have been used now can be run through the dams, producing electricity, delivered right here to Lewiston, Maine, and displace oil and natural gas that is emitting significant amounts of carbon. I want to thank everybody for this episode of Clearing the Air. I hope that you've learned something about some of the myths that still exist about this project. I'm happy to hear more questions that you may have, or if there's subjects that you want to see covered in a future episode, please put them in the comments below. We will read them and address them in further episodes of Clearing the Air.